Good morning. Welcome. Great morning to you, folks. This is Shippy the Explorer um, coming to you from Eittsville on a Sunday morning, early. It's so early that you can hear the birds singing and the hawks in the neighborhood. They are still hunting, and let's see if we can bring you highlights there. But I welcome you back to this station and trust that you are doing well and on a pleasant day and wish you all the best for today. I happy that you are with me and always appreciate your coming back to this station. If you like these videos, do like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, folks. People don't understand the subscription bit of it, but you need to subscribe so that we can build a station, and so that you can, if you like them, you can, as soon as I release these videos, you're the first one to get notification. But on a lovely day, I'll bring you, as I said, the hunting hawks. We have a pair of hawks here, and this is a great ground for them because they're able to find food and feast and keep alive. And they have been nesting here for the last 5 years or 6 years, and their nest is up in the trees there. But how lovely a place is this? I'm always amazed that a number of people don't come early to experience this this area, So, what we have to share today with you, just a matter of talking about, always talking about life and showing you the neighborhood, folks. We're exploring life, and we're exploring that everything continues, I got up, with a good idea of saying we should do a topic of don't put your socks on in the dark. And what that is a thought of mine is that basically it means that if you put on your socks in the dark, you're liable to make mistakes, and in the long run you have put on the wrong colors. You end up with wrong colors on different feet. But this is azaleas. This is the prime time for azaleas to bloom in Maryland. So it's a philosophical statement and thought that if you put your socks on in the dark, or if you make decisions in undisclosed manner, and you're liable to make mistakes. When the final results come out, you're liable to have find that you didn't plan right things um, are not seemingly they're the same. You have mixture in the results. You have um, uh, difference in the materials you use. You have different figures on the paper. You so the whole idea is not to put your socks on in the dark. But as an explorer, that topic didn't seem to be going anywhere. So I said to myself, you know what? Let me come over to Hyattsville and explore the region for you folks. Now, this is the new development that's taking place over in the Prince George's Plaza is right over there, and this is phase 1 and 2 of a 3-phase thing. And who knows, did you know that there's a river right in the back of Adelphi and Toledo Avenue? There's a little stream here. So the developer has made a great effort in reconstructing this area, and I think they're doing a great job. So basically you have two waterheads that come from the I think sorry, the western side. That is Northwestern High School, folks. And as they converge here, they come under the street and they converge right there. And then they continue to flow. So what the developer is trying to do is make sure that as they build adjacent to this property, they are making sure that the adjoining properties are in wonderful shape. So I am one of the leaders at University Christian Church, and our property is over there. So let me do the first, the explorer, Shippy the explorer, to give you a shot, to the first to walk along this new development and show you the perspective from this end to the our property on the other side of the fence. And this is the developed area, and across the street, across the trees, is University Christian Church. That's our property over there. And this is the look you're getting from this end of the world. And how quite different it is. The developers put down bagging where as the river water comes down through these holes, and converge at this spot, then in some areas not running as good as ever. Hope I don't get trapped in the mud. So as an explorer, we're exploring to see, here we go, two culverts. They call them culverts or culverts that runs under the Belcrest Road. And that's to take the water down through this valley. So I need to find another dry land path to cross over, so I can go back on the path where it is comfortable. So you may wonder, what's this all about? You have phase, I think that was phase 1. Phase 2 is just starting. They're putting up their parking towers, and that was a phase that wasn't part of the same developers thing, but that was a Stanley Martin development, and those are finished, and most of them have been sold out. But you can imagine, in a year or two, people would be walking from over there and strolling along this path. And it would be a very interesting path, because even at the first few feet, I can hear my breath. I'm getting a good exercise this morning. So it would be a nice go walk. Maybe a half mile of track around the pond. Now this I explained before in another tape. This was called Nine Pond, and it was a circular 50 diameter piece of catchment that catch the water from, I don't remember the name of this river, Sealy River, and it would trap the water, and as it gets trapped, then the pasture over that property, over in that side of that property, was a pasture. This whole area was pasteurized, and it's the cows would be able to come down to the pond and drink water, folks. I'm trying to get over here a little bit, explore a little bit. Now, these are portable toilets that in the United States, if you have construction, they are readily available to be used. And I'll just show you what they look like as an explorer. These are portable toilets. They have a urinal and the toilet, and then the bottom is chemical, and ever so often there's a pump, a truck with the pump that comes and empty those things. So I'm just exploring the everything this morning, folks, to show you what is going on in the area around Adelphi and Belcrest Road. Because I'm sure in a year or two you would say, oh man, you would surely appreciate this tape. So I envision that what's going to happen, the members who live in this area, they can come out of their lovely homes and they can just stroll along this path. Wow. So here is something interesting. As the river, small stream really, comes down from up the valley with its debris, it cascades on. The developer has come up with a brilliant idea. It cascades on these rock cages that filled with rock. And as it cascades over these, it deposits its debris, its leaves and trash, and it filters away. Look at that, folks. So the rock at the end of the drainage slows down the water, and then the filtration starts. And as it flows over these cages, rock, it filters off the trash and the debris. But it's also doing another thing. It's also allowing the water to be filtered underneath these cages. And then as it goes down, only you don't get trash being left. Then there's another purpose of this cage, this rock thing. It prevents erosion, and it prevents the water from washing down, washing away the soil. So it's actually a retainer wall, a series of retainer walls. And if you have problem anywhere in your property or anywhere in the world, and you want to prevent erosion, you can build these rock cages. It's wire, and you fill these wire cages with rocks, and you'll be surprised, and you stock them in such a way that is terraced, and you'll be surprised that this prevents the erosion to take place. Now as it reaches the bottom of here, there's an ingenious thing that they created, and I've never seen this before. As the water filters through the rock, it comes through here as exit point, and then it flows in through these 3 chambers, and you can see the water that's flowing through. And if it has excess water that comes over, the debris will be collected to a certain extent, and some you can see it can flow over the this bridge. So that's a brilliant way of taking care of. So what's happening is that only clean or cleaner water is dispensed on the other side of this this bridge. And see, as it comes out, it's much cleaner. And as you see, there's very little trash on this side. Obviously we have plastic that's got blown over. So see if I have enough time. Yeah, I have enough time. And finally, the pond. The pond will be able to collect and hold water for a period of time. And in this pond, they have 3 rock cage walls. You can't see it now because the water table is very high. But let me get a perspective of me walking along the, I'm one of the first local citizens to maybe to walk this path and demonstrate what's happening in Hyattsville, folks. So my wish, I hope that the developer, can you just see it? 3 fountains just pumping and flowing up into the air and then flowing back to the surface of the water. How magnificent that will be. They may or may not do it, but that's an idea I have. And I can look over into the property of the church. And that's a beautiful view, I think, from this end. So maybe I'll change my tape topic and say the view from the west end of the river. And you know, as soon as you have water body, you're gonna have the water birds, and hopefully you may have to seed the water. I'm not even sure if you fish the water, plant young fish into the water or fish the pond. That means you're adding fish to the water body. So if you're resident in these homes over here, then you can just come down and fish for trout or tilapia in this area. It's amazing, folks. And I'm just loving this this development. It's it's wonderful. So as I go around the pond, I give you another shot of the view from this end. Give you periodical views of what's happening. So what is this bringing out to me into me this morning is that it's a matter of enjoying your environment. If you take care of your environment and it looks lovely, you need to enjoy it. Walk around, enjoy your water body, your streams and your ponds. Explore your neighborhood. Here is another culvert that's coming from another section of the development over in Hyattsville here. That's a big one. You see, big cranes are in because they're at another stage of development. I'm sure that tomorrow morning you'll have a great activity going on over here, or maybe they're pulling down, they're suspending their work. Maybe that's what they're doing, I'm not sure. There you go, another view from across the road onto Nine Pond. Yeah, so that's what it's all about. you explore your neighborhood and enjoy, know what is around you, enjoy the sunshine, get the vitamin D, and see what's going on in your neighborhood, and be inquisitive, but at the same time explore and enjoy. So here we are. This is the public library, and it's right there, folks. And this now, as the water comes in from the valley up there and gets cleaned, collected into a lake or a pond, the final discharging out of this valley goes in down this area. And I'll just, as an explorer, I must bring it to you. So here we are. Big exploration today, folks. It will be a great, this is such a wonderful experience. Look at that. So the water now is flowing from the two little streams up the valley, from the pond, and now it's being discharged down in through another series of culverts. And you can see it curves around as it hit this entrance. It curves and then maybe project down the street under the road. So what is my hope for doing this bit of walk this morning is that you will experience life. Morning. Experience life and feel inspired to even get out of your house and walk around the neighborhood and see what's going on. There we are. The library is right there and the community center is right there. But if you notice, I've been able to walk around the pond. And I'm going right around the pond as an explorer. And we're coming up now on the other side of the pond. Some of the shots you see here, you might have seen it in other shots, because in another shot I talk about homelessness. As you can see, I just passed the young lady. I showed some of this before. And talked about homelessness. And we wondered, well, why does it happen? You know, it's a sad situation. You have experienced that with me. And so it's continuing. It's a continuing problem of homelessness. And until the society decides to maybe prioritize their expenditure with a national expenditure or state expenditure or town expenditure, then we'll always have homelessness and poorness and hunger, you know, and anger and hunger and all the mal situations in life. But I wish you could feel the temperature, folks. Today is expected to be maybe in the 70s or 80s, but as I reach a spot and I'm a little bit tired, I feel a cool breeze that hit my face, that's hitting my face, that feels like 68 degrees and it's comfortable. Maybe cooler in the shade, but for some reason there's a slight breeze that's coming off the lake, the pond, that makes the body feels like you're in heaven, like in the garden of Eden. As a biblical person, quite lovely, refreshing. So this is a perspective on the other side of the pond. So now look at the reflection of the buildings in the water, folks. And I'll just put myself in the picture so that I am part of this historical walk. Shippy the explorer taking you on a walk this morning, early Sunday morning. Sun is shining, there's no rain, a slight breeze. It's like walking in a luxurious park, folks. Even the ravens are enjoying themselves. So far, there is hardly any life in this water, but look carefully. You probably can't see anything. But you can see movement, slight movement of the water, and you can see that it's clean. I can look to the bottom of the pond. So what can we talk about this morning? We're back to this putting on your socks in the dark. And, you know, that is a literal problem. You know, from some of us who we get out in the morning and we put on our clothes and we end up putting on our socks, and in the dark it looks okay. But when we reach to work and we are feeling proud and dressed and feeling formal, and somehow we look down on our feet and on our feet, and suddenly we realize, oh my gosh, it's two different shades of brown or two different shades of blue, and you feel so embarrassed. You try to pull your feet back under the table so that the other people in the conference can't see you, and you wonder, what should I do? Should I go into the bathroom and take off these socks. But if you take off the socks, then you look like you're not dressed and you're so informal and you feel so out of place, folks. I tell you, this, it's a simple thing, but it's embarrassing. You know, and if you are the presenter and you're up there trying to present some fancy program or policy, you're gonna be distracted, folks. I'm telling you, you're gonna be distracted. So, putting on your socks in the dark is, look at this. Even in the, look at this. Even in the last bit of the green, there's life. Folks. Oh my gosh. Can't believe we have encroached on their spot, and believe it or not, they're still living in the small section of the property. We only have maybe about 10 acres left of this greenery, and the deers are still here. So that's the sock story, and it has brought us back to reality that if you encroach on the wild, they fight back, they tend to stay, and look how they have disappeared in the grass. It's as if they weren't even here. So they're struggling. And what's going to happen as the developer plant exotic plants around the neighborhood, what they're going to be doing is just feeding on them, folks. We can't do anything. We can't complain because we are the ones as human beings. We are encroaching and we're encroaching. And here we are. It's a magnificent tree. It's an oak tree, one of the strongest tree in terms of limbs in America. But the root system is not that strong. They don't anchor themselves that well in the soil. And if you get a strong wind and the soil is soft, they tend to want to tumble over. But this one has been surviving, and I'm sure this tree is over 200 years old, because the similar one that I cut down, it had died, and we removed it from the church property from over here, and I count the annual rings, and it was 226 years old. So I think this is a sister or brother tree to the old system. But Shippy the explorer explores the neighborhood before the neighbors get out of their bed. And I feel it's a wonderful feeling. I enjoy this so much. I'm going to go around and maybe come back down into this, beside this tree, to demonstrate how big that tree is. So, phase 1, phase 2 is on the way, and phase 3 will be over this side in the slope, where they'll suddenly take down these trees, a lot of these trees, maybe if not all, and that will be a heartbreaking thing, folks. That would be the problem, because we'll be losing a lot of this natural environment or view. And then the deers, that would be another thing. Where would the deers go at that point? They're going to be, oh boy, sad to say, get left out or get trapped out, pushed out of the area. Wish we could have a way of keeping them, let them roam free and be part of the environment. But they're wild animals, and they don't want to really mix with human being if they can avoid it. So here we are walking along the church property, and it runs from this end straight up to Bellcrest Road, folks, to the right of the double culvert, slightly to the right. Well, the developer had encroached a little bit on the property, but I can see why they did that. They did that because they needed space to work, so they had to encroach a little bit. So the area is quite lovely. It's natural. It's rustic. Its limbs of cold tree limbs are down. It's not smooth, but it gives you that whole feeling of forest, jungle. It's entangled to a certain extent. You can clean it out. I've cleaned out this section myself up here and actually remove the trash, but not to do much more than that. I've done some removal of the English ivy. English ivy is this thing that creeps up on the trees, folks, but it bears berries, and in winter the birds do feed on it. So that's another thing. Shippy the Explorer is telling you, demonstrating and informing you of what's happening in the areas around the Heightsville neighborhood. And as I said, sooner or later, in a few months or a couple of years or so, you'll be able to come, maybe park at the church and take a walk around the pond, Nine Pond. I'm hoping that they will still keep the name Nine Pond. Here we go. We're backtracking up through and along our property. Not my property, folks, but actually it's the church's property, but we collectively we own. And we are back on Adelphi Road. And making our way back to the church. Well, I'll wash my hands as soon as I get back in, but that's part of the trick is to keep the environment clean. So here it is for the folks who are living in the area and don't know what's the type of trees that we have. The whitest tree is sycamore, and that one is mulberry, and this is sweet gum, and this is apple serviceberry, and Bartlett, this is pear tree. But this is on our church property is a blackberry tree, and it has been bearing for dozens of years, and I used to eat it, and the horticulturalist told me, Hank told me that the leaves, if the animals get a hold of the leaves, the cows, it's very toxic for the cows. But this blackberry has been bearing. I used to pick it and produce the drink and jam or jelly from the berries. Quite tasty, folks. So that's a secret on the property. And then there's another perspective. We are coming up on towards the east, and as we look along the ridge, we have grape plants and mixed with azaleas, folks. And I'll just show you the grape plants and how they are getting to be, and they are edible. If you can find the prescription or the recipe from the Indians, Hank again told me that they are edible. I've tasted it. They're quite sweet sometimes. But guess who planted these? You're looking at the person that planted these, folks. So this, I dedicate this as the Shippy the Explorer Ridge, or I can't use my real name, but for now I'll say Shippy the Explorer Ridge, because I did plant all these plants here some years ago, and I enjoy them. Yes. So as we make our way around, I'll give the full perspective of this area, folks. Now we can look from the church property back over to the development. And as you look through the trees, you can observe that's what's going on. So if you're not able to venture down here like myself, all you have to do is click on to Shippy the Explorer and watch this tape, folks. And at the end, watch it till the end, because it also helps with the advertisement you know, and that helps the station. And as you explore with me, I'm sure you're going to experience some of the great feelings I've had this morning. So this is where we were, second on the lower side, and I'm coming up to my mega tree, and that would, I'm gonna measure my body against it so that you get a different perspective of what's happening. And then I'll make my way down to the tree. And so that here we are. We need to find a safe way to go down. Believe it or not, I think this is where a road will be running through here, folks. And here we are. Perspective of a tree. How big is this tree? Folks, I'm sure over 200 years safely. Now, if you want, I once talked about if you want to feel the power of nature, just hug a big tree. So as Shippy the Explorer hugs this magnificent tree, I can just feel the power of nature. I just feel the power. I mean, the history, the knowledge this tree has, the experience, the weather it has gone through in 200 and something years, and it's still standing. So, two things this morning. Don't put your socks on in the dark. That means don't plan your life in the wrong perspective. Oh, I thought I was the only one that was walking, but that's the homeless lady. She's walking. So that's one thing about life. As I hug this tree, plan, put on your socks in the light so that you don't have the potential of making a mistake. And if you want to experience nature, hug a big oak tree and you can just feel how insignificant you are against nature. And then you will be able to say, if I'm such part of nature and I feel so weak, I have to make sure that whatever I do in life, I'm doing it to the best of my ability. So, as we end this tape today, and as we have explored the neighborhood, we've taken all those perspectives in life and saying, thanks for watching, share. If you like, share, and subscribe. Just click the button. Just click it for fun, because it doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe, and then you'll get more lovely, interesting, educational videos from Shippy the Explorer as we venture and explore together. Bye for now, folks. See you on another exploration.